In today's video, I'm gonna show you what it takes to take a physique going from here, where you have some body fat to lose, to here, where you have more muscle and less body fat. So I'm gonna talk about that magic place where we are adding muscle and losing fat at the same time. And yes, you can absolutely do it. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com, and I got a great question today on my Instagram direct message. I've also been really loving the comments in the comment section, so if you have questions down there, please don't hesitate to ask. But I want to talk about today the idea of changing the body, okay? This is something that I've been doing for many, many years, guys. I'm 49 years old. I'm a lifetime natural bodybuilder, and whether I'm working out here in my garage, working out at the gym, traveling, or coaching my competitors at shows, what I've been doing is paying attention to what works, right? I've seen some amazing transformations, whether it's the people like Dan, his before and after here in our transformation challenge was quite striking. Drea, her transformation in our challenge was quite striking. Understanding how to make this happen. And so I really just love giving you guys this type of information and helping you out. And if you want a free guide, I actually have a free guide that's going to explain all this in details. It costs nothing. You just have to use the link below to get that free guide. But let me ask the question for you guys here, and it goes like this. I see sometimes people ask you questions on here. This is in my Instagram. I'm about 170 pounds at 16% body fat, and I'm in a cut. I used your macro calculator for daily intake. I'm trying to be about 175 pounds, but 12% body fat. Any leader is hard for me to maintain. What is the best way to tackle this given my current weight and body fat percentage? Thanks. So there's a few questions that I don't have the answer to. So under what circumstances are we able to put on muscle and lose body fat at the same time? The two most extremes are you've never lifted to I've been lifting 30 years like I have. Okay, so this person's never lifted. This person has been lifting 30 years. We'll call this person me. You also have people that have a lot of body fat, so let's say 25 to 30% body fat, and you have people that have low body fat like me. We'll say I'm around 10, 12% right now, okay? So the further you are on these two, okay, so you have zero training experience and a lot of body fat, you can easily meet in the middle. You can easily lose body fat and add muscle at the same time. For me, who's been training for 30 years and my body fat is very low, okay, for me to add more muscle and lose more body fat, you see what I'm fighting here. I'm fighting the fact that I've already been training for 30 years, okay? So for me to add muscle, it's very challenging. Also, I'm already at a very low body fat. So for me to add muscle while losing body fat is gonna be even more challenging. So you mentioned you're at about 16% body fat, and I find that this is a pretty lean position, honestly. So it really is probably gonna come down to your training age, because what you mentioned was that you want to be heavier, yet be lower body fat. Typically what I suggest is focusing on making sure your plan is in place to do both at the same time. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that would look like. So first things first, you mentioned the calculator. If you have the calculator that's on my website, prophysique.com/calculator, if you're using that for cutting, what it's going to do is give you the proper macronutrient ratios, meaning how much protein, how much carbs, how much fat. It's an evidence-based calculator based on the science of putting on muscle and losing fat. It's going to ensure that you're getting enough of all your macronutrients to do just that. What really changes the body is a workout. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a quick little arm workout that I do here at the home that only takes me maybe 15, 20 minutes to put on muscle. So I'll give you a little bit example of what I do around here for that. But the idea being is that the diet is only going to do part of it. The diet is going to basically ensure that you're eating enough to put on muscle, and you're also not eating too much so that you can lose body fat. But the real caveat, what's going to change the physique is the training. And I think this is not emphasized as much because most people are focused only on losing body fat, only on seeing the scale go down. In fact, one of the most common questions I get is, should I just lose the body fat and then try to put the muscle on? That's actually a terrible idea. Why? Because when you're losing body fat, if you're not trying to build muscle, keep muscle, pay attention to muscle, you're going to severely reduce your metabolic rate. Okay, muscle is very metabolically demanding, which means you get to eat more food. You're also going to look better when you lose the weight. You're you're also going to feel better when you lose the weight because you can continue to eat and you can continue to perform. So my suggestion is, even if you're not trying to build muscle, which takes a little bit more time and effort in the gym, just keeping muscle is very easy. Evidence shows that you can keep muscle on as few sets per week, and that's going to allow you to maintain your muscle mass while you're losing body fat, assuming you're following the macro guide, hitting your protein, carbs, and fats properly. But for you, what I would suggest is a 5-day training program. Now, there's a good example of this in the free guide that I've listed in the link below. That's got a free full body 5-day training program that's going to train the entire body. It's got some sample nutrition stuff. But the idea here is that the training stimulus is going to create more muscle. So let's talk a little bit about what that should look like. I'm suggesting typical workouts are going to be 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes 60, depending on things like lower body days where you need a little rest between, okay? Growing the larger muscles in the body, okay? While we all love a good chest day, these are pretty small muscles compared to quads, hamstrings, glutes, lats, rhomboids, trapezius. The muscles on the posterior chain are much bigger. No one's putting on 5 pounds of muscle training their biceps. These are small muscles, okay? Deltoids have a little size, chest has a little size, but for the most part, if you're not training lower body and back with pretty good intensity, you're not gonna make a significant amount of change to the physique. This is where these workout guides will really help you. The free program I have includes really good back training, really good lower body training. And trust me, start slow. Don't beat yourself up the first couple days. The idea here is that you have to do 2 things. You can't just do one. You can't just handle the diet. You've got to also focus on the training. So what does research suggest and what does my experience suggest is the best way to lose body fat and add muscle at the same time? You want to make sure that you're not losing more than 1% of your body weight per week, especially how lean you are. 16% is pretty lean. So at 170 pounds, what you want to be doing is not losing more than about 1 to 2 pounds per week. But again, you're focused on gaining. So here's the caveat: supplementation. Okay? I'm assuming you're a natural athlete. If you're not natural and you're taking hormone therapy, testosterone replacement therapy, or just straight up taking steroids, you probably don't even need this video. You're going to recomp pretty aggressively. But if you want some supplementation that's over the counter that's going to help, the 2 I recommend the most, one is going to be creatine monohydrate. Why? It's going to have an immediate impact. Within a few days, you're going to be stronger, your muscles are going to be fuller, you're going to actually have more lean body mass from the storage of intramuscular fluids. The second is a product that really is going to help men increase their natural testosterone levels through the reduction of cortisol and through the management of some other hormones like estrogen, okay? This is called Core Hard. It is basically got ashwagandha in it. If you're not familiar with ashwagandha or DIM, the form of ashwagandha that's in it is called KSM 66. I cannot tell you, I make every one of my competitors take this. It just has a profound impact on making more testosterone freely available. I'll put a link to both of those products below. If you want to support the channel, hey, you can use my discount code to do that. But if you want to get it elsewhere, no worries. But when I tell you that as a man at 49 years old, these are 2 key ingredients for me to be able to maintain my muscularity, maintain my male drive, and I feel the best I've ever felt. So, you know, I'm taking this as, you know, anecdote for myself, but also from the athletes that I've seen. But also, if you look up KSM 66 ashwagandha, if you look up DIM, and if you look up creatine, some of the best research is in this. And if you're taking care of the first 2 things, the diet, the training, and you benefit from the supplementation, this is where we can get a positive recomp, adding muscle, losing body fat at the same time. When it comes to cardio, you don't want to do any cardio that's going to interfere with your ability to build muscle. So focus on low intensity, steady state. Guys, I've done tons of videos. The only cardio I do is walking. Walking has many variations. You can walk flat, you can walk on an incline, you can walk on an incline at speed. But the idea is that you're not wearing yourself out. You're burning primarily fat as fuel, so you're not creating more hunger. I've gone over this many, many times in my videos. But that's it. I mean, the other part about this that's not sexy is that might take you weeks and months. When you're talking about adding muscle, you're talking about adding tissue to your body. When we train, we break the muscle fibers down. They come back stronger and bigger, but we're talking about micrograms and grams. That's going to take time. Now, with the bigger muscles, the quads, the glutes, the hamstrings, the back, if you haven't been training those muscles long, trust me, that's going to have the most impact, okay? I walk around at this body fat percentage. I'm going to say I'm in the 10 to 12% range at 215, 217 pounds. It's the most I've ever weighed at the lowest body fat I've ever been at, right? Why is that? Because I've been lifting for freaking 30 years. It's not something you can rush. But here's the other benefit of that as a natural bodybuilder. It's really easy to maintain muscle. So what happens over time is that this physique is just easier and easier to maintain. Yes, it becomes more challenging to add a little bit of muscle, but it does not become more challenging to look the way I want to look because I put in the work. So be willing to put in the work. Click the link for the free download guide below. Use my calculator. Let me know how I can help you guys. These are great questions on my Instagram and in the comments below. Thank you guys. I'll talk to you.